My name is Chris, and today we're going to find out what this thing is. Welcome to the Vinyl Attack. I'd been tirelessly working on a new episode with all the fervor, determination, and grit I could muster to make sure I was delivering the finest possible quality for you all when a subscriber named Jose made a comment on one of my videos and completely derailed me. He'd seen a thread on the Vinyl Engine message boards a little while back about what looked to be a new and fairly ingenious way to eliminate record static with a tool that cost a fraction of a zero-stat, and he inquired about its legitimacy. He told me where to find the thread, and off I went to dig about and see what was there. I came upon the unsuspecting topic with a piqued curiosity, but, if I'm being honest, a very strong sense of skepticism. The members of this forum were discussing using an arc lighter on their precious records to zap them with ions, thus eliminating static. Could this even work? The tip of the lighter being so narrow would surely impede on any effect that might do us any good. This item was never intended with our record collection, and one wonders how a person might even think this up if necessity weren't the mother of invention. Or perhaps that's just what people do when they're locked down for an entire year. If you're unfamiliar with an arc lighter, or plasma lighter as it's also called, it's quite a clever contraption that uses high voltage electrical current passing between two nodes to create an arc of highly charged plasma that creates heat. If you're a science type, well, much more science than me, it's kind of one of those why didn't I think of that situations. Or maybe I just have really smart friends that I feel dumb around all the time who could certainly think this stuff up. At any rate, my first thought was one of caution. Essentially, Jose was asking me to shoot bolts of plasma hot enough to induce fire on almost anything it touches at one of my records. Here I was, minding my own business, trying to work on the latest episode for all of you, and this guy wants me to catch my house on fire. He assured me that my record wouldn't melt, but I'm not sold on the idea, so I came prepared. Joke's on you, Jose. My second impression was mentioned earlier, but bears repeating. How in the holy name of Dimebag Darrell is this small tip supposed to create a field of ions large enough to spread over the surface of a record to eliminate anything other than the highly flammable paper label? Did I mention the original poster on the message board said he ran the lighter one time around the record in its span of about 2 to 3 seconds? Well, that's what he claims. So being at least smart enough to know I didn't want to put my Stevie Ray Vaughan MoFi one step on the line of fire, yes, that review is still forthcoming, I went to my local Salvation Army to find some sacrificial lambs, or vinyl, or whatever. And today, we're going to do some static testing. Whoa, hey, whoa, now hold on. Put your pitchforks and torches down and relax a minute. I am acutely aware that just me holding a record can create static, so I will be using this anti-static trap attached to my ankle to ground myself and eliminate any static my person might introduce to the record and the test. You can all stop commenting on the Milty test video telling me I should have done it in the first place. I'm well aware. You've made your point. Can we move on? Similar to the Milty test, we're going to try a few different methods measuring the before and after static readings using my Simco static electricity reader to see which, if any, will work. Using this Ronexus, sounds like a porn. Using this arc/plasma lighter. While I don't expect much from this test, if nothing else, I'll have a lovely new candle lighter. Note that for the first test, I'm using the method described in the original post. That's the source of this material. Thus, I think it only fair to test it. I know you want to see me test this on the turntable since that's where we play our records. And I will. But the first method described was done while holding the record in the hand. Feel free to look away in horror while this is done. Let's get our readings, and then we're going to go about 3 seconds around the record holding the lighter approximately 3 inches away. Alright, I'm strapped in. I am grounded. Let's take our first record and see where we're at. "11, 8, 7, 11. We'll turn this on. And now, at about 3 inches, I need to try to go about 3 seconds. Let me count that off. Seems good. Here we go. All right. Let's see what we get. 2.5, 2.5, 4.5, 5. Interesting. So I would say that actually did show something, and it kind of surprises me a little bit. It's not a huge improvement, although 11 to 2.5 is not bad. But an interesting thing that I'd like to show you is check this out. That's what we're looking at. Let's put this record aside and move on to number 2. For our next test, I'm going to take the readings on the turntable and repeat the method of the first test. Afterward, I'll take the readings of the result still on the turntable. This is showing a very low reading, and I was encountering this a little bit earlier. What seems to be happening is with the table grounded and the record is on there, either I'm not getting a solid reading because there's so much mass, or the record is actually not emitting a lot of static when it's laying on this felt mat of all things. So we're going to get the readings anyway, and we'll try it out. 0.4, 0.8, 1.3, and 1. Now, the same thing, about 3 inches, about 3 seconds around. Here we go. Let's see if that did anything at all. 0.4, 0.2, 0.6, 0.3. There is a result. It's a marginal result, but at the same time, that's not necessarily bad considering we started with such a low number. This actually seems to be doing something, which is really surprising. From here, we're just making it up as we go along, as there is only one post on how to perform this task, so I thought I'd see what we got if we performed this test while the record was spinning. It would certainly make things easier, because I'm lazy, so we'll take a reading and then count off 3 seconds while holding the lighter stationary as the turntable is in motion. Our next record, Mr. Eddie Rabbit. 0.6, 0.2, 0.6, 0.2. At least it's consistent. Those are low numbers as well. You wouldn't find a whole lot of static coming through at all, in my opinion, through the system, so I guess that's good news. But let's turn this on, let's get it spinning. I'll hold the button for 3 seconds while holding this 3 inches above and stationary. Here we go. Point 4, 0.7, 0.2, 0.2. Not a lot of difference there, but again, I wish I could figure out how to factor in the turntable itself because it's not getting such a great reading. Let's move on. Lastly, I'm going to go with the general and oh-so-American thought press that if doing something once is good, doing something 4 times must be awesome. When the lighters button is pressed, it runs for 6 seconds before shutting off. So, we'll perform all 3 tests again using the lighter's full cycle twice, which adds up to 12 seconds, or 4 times as long as our original tests. Savvy? Let's get a reading. This is going to be done in the hand entirely, so we'll measure it there, and then we're going to run 2 full cycles with the arc lighter. Wow, 13, 13, 16, 14. And lest you think it changes when I put the record down, it hasn't at all. So now, 2 full cycles, and let's see what we get. Alright, that's 12 seconds approximately. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2. That's a result. It really truly is. I'm very surprised. Point 0.6, 0.4, 0.3, 0.3. I'd forgotten I'm supposed to do this stationary on the table. Here we go. 0.3, 0.3, 0.4, 0.4. That, I think, went up. No, not really. That's almost a completely flat result. 0.6, 0.2, 0.2, 0.5. Now we'll turn it on. 2 full spins? No, 2 full cycles while this spins. Let's see what we did to Mr. Bert Camford. 0.6, 0.2, 0.3, 0.5. I would say that's actually no change. You've got 1/10, but it's interesting. I wish I had a more accurate way, and I apologize for that. However, that being said, when you measure in hand, I know you want to measure on the table because that's where you play your records, but when you measure in hand, you're still getting a result. And if we look at the bigger numbers, such as record 4, where we started off with 13 and then went down to 2.5, that is a measured result. That means this is in fact reducing the amount of static. Just because it's not on the record doesn't mean it's not happening. Now, I don't know why the static base here is so low, stays so low, and when you put a highly static record on there, it lowers itself. Somebody smarter than me could please let me know. I would happily listen. Well, there you have it. Did you expect any of these results? Is this something that you'd use yourself? Is the price of roughly $15 worth a try over the very expensive ZeroStat, or do you feel better having something created more specific for static elimination? Let us know in our very active comment section. Also, to streamline the process of buying stickers, which many of you have done, and I sincerely thank you, I've created an online store. Just head to thevinylattack.com and add some to your cart. 2 stickers for $3 shipped. What could be better? And finally, if you've made it this far in the video, you are exactly whom I'm addressing. Last Sunday, March 7th, I hit 1,000 subscribers. That might not seem like a lot, and in the wide world of YouTube, it really isn't. But consider that that happened in just 1 month on a very particular and niche channel, and I'm quite over the moon. Consider that now, only 1 week later, we're over 2,000 subs, and I'm simply humbled by the amount of kindness and support I've been shown. Thank you so very much for making this simple little hobby of mine worth every minute I put into it. I appreciate your comments, your emails, your DMs, and your financial support buying stickers, but most importantly of all, I look forward to next time.